Hello, I am Joseph. I am 20 years old, living in New Hampshire in the United States. Why am I making this? Well, not only just for a little, artifact for myself in the future, but more so as well as, again, documenting myself and my own journey, and just to be able to get an output to my inputs of me learning, me building things, me just doing whatever I'm doing to have some way of outputting it. Because I don't have, first off, I don't have anybody I fucking talk to about what I do. Like I kind of I barely talk about what I do to people, but I don't really say exactly how I see things or what I do, how I feel. I can't allow myself to, 'cause it just feels wasteful. Because I know they just will not understand it. Nobody will around me right now. Not a single fucking soul, and it's kind of upsetting, but I don't know. Eventually I will. That's why you kind of just be authentically you, and then eventually, you attract those people. You attract what you are. And that's what's amazing about that. That's why, again, a year ago, I stopped talking to most of the people I hung around because, again, it's not that they weren't good people. I have amazing memories with them, and I appreciate them a lot. Seriously, like they gave me a great high school life, middle school life. They had many great friendships, many great memories, many great everything. And of course, I'm grateful for that. Why wouldn't I be? But it just first off, I was never really super authentically me. It was mainly authentically me alone. Because again, I just didn't feel most would understand me, or I don't know. Because most people's priorities are completely different from mine, especially now. Of course, back then I wasn't really what I would consider to be, a hustler by any means. I wouldn't be anybody who's has big dreams. I did, but I didn't, chase them like I should have then. But now, of course, it's a different story. It's been a year in of me spending thousands of hours working on the business I now have that I call business because, again, it's still a freelance kind of situation. But again, I like calling it business because, again, it's some manifestory kind of thing. And it's not me trying to lie or delarple. Like, are you fucking kidding me? No. It's called I know who I am. I know what I'm fucking capable of. I know that I can run a fucking business if you threw one in my face when it comes to what I do, and I can understand it. I can understand the logic, the fundamentals. I can understand all of those kind of things. Of course, like, and especially like managing. I could definitely manage. I love people and I love systems. I love systems. Like systems is something that I have more passion for than absolutely anything. And that's why I love automation so much because I get to build systems that, provide an output of their own softwares they use for them not to never have to touch it again. It just does what they did, exactly what they did every time. And of course, you can throw AI in. I don't really do AI work like mainly as of yet. It's more so automation work. It's rule based. It's not an AI doing it. It's an automation. It uses code basically, like, and it performs those actions. Like when you are using a software and you're performing actions, there's stuff going on behind the screens that you don't see that's allowing you to perform those actions, and it executes for you. But you get to click a button and it forms that code. You know what I mean? So the automation just does that same thing over and over and over. It's consistent, and it can, of course, have different variables where something can be a bit different and it can go a different way. It can interpret it a different way based on the input itself, things like that. But AI is where it becomes logical, where again, it can have that sort of logic behind what it's doing, where you give it something, it has the tools, the resources, and the understanding, the knowledge, like an employee would. You give it the SOPs, just any instructions or context or anything it needs that an employee would use to do the job, or like for like knowledge based work, at least like the knowledge part of it, not the resources. You give that separately in the automation, and then again when it gets the input, it then interprets it based on its understanding of the work itself, and it has those resources that it makes a decision to use to perform the task. So that's more so what AI does. It's not something that is I do more automation work, but AI is what's getting powerful because these agents are like employees. That's what they really are employees. And that's like another thing. I do want to talk about AI first off before I go in more into my business stuff. This is gonna be a longer one just to have a good intro going. And I'm not gonna do any cuts because I don't really care about those right now. I just want to get something out so that because it's more so for myself. I feel that I'm not doing good for myself by procrastinating me doing this. I've been needing to do this and I haven't done it. And it's something that I need to do and get off my chest and start, performing and getting these out day by day. I'm gonna be doing a daily one. If I can't, then every other day. That's a big rule when it comes to your habits. A very good thing to do. Uh, of course, we're doing different kind of videos. People who prolong them for when they release them, but that's different. My video is just me talking. I'm not really doing much editing or anything. Just like me talking. I don't need to clip it. So the whole thing about AI, most people interpret it in a negative way because of the majority. You know what I mean? Like when you give a tool to the majority who just want the quick way, they want the easy money, easy this, easy that. Oh, throw it some slop shit, it'll give you some slop shit. It's only slop if the person itself is feeding it slop. Like people don't understand this. You know what I mean? Like a lot of it, like the video stuff, I understand. I don't like that stuff. It's uneasy. Of course, it's not authentic and emotional. The difference between AI and us is that we are biological. AI is strictly logical. So it doesn't have that biology of emotions and authenticness, uniqueness based on, it's just logic. It just thinks. It doesn't have that biology behind it or pain or emotion. Like, when someone's painting something, like especially back then, like where you would just paint your emotions like that was authentic, you know what I mean? And AI can't replicate that. It never can unless they do some disgusting shit with the whole, the neuro I forgot what it's called, but there's people literally using neurons now, like what our brains use to try simulating like those like some amount, smaller, of course, way smaller amount of neurons, but using them and feeding it dopamine when it does certain tasks to make sure it does the work it wants, and it even like it even disposes of waste. Like it has to be giving like inputs to live in a way, and it spits out waste, and you have to manage all that. So like they're literally just our neurons. What makes us think. You know what I mean? And they're doing that, which is pretty sick. Like I couldn't. I don't know why the fuck you would do that, dude. If we're already dealing with logic work, why add a biological logic monster? Like that will be fucked up. That's scary. That's nothing like AI is right now at all. That could become truly aware, like because it's again it's neurons. It'll be a giant brain network basically, and that's what AI is. Also, AI is just it works. It's very similar to us. Obviously, it has its differences, but it works very structurally different. I mean, geez, structurally the same as us. It has um like again when you're thinking, you have your neurons. The AI has its own like neuron map in a way as well, where it has the knowledge, that it attains in its web of memory, which again replicates our neurons, and it basically has sends electricity that mimics, and it does a whole bunch of work behind the scenes where so many ones and zeros where it creates like literally like a replication of a human like like logical brain kind of response back that it's just, and we don't really know how it works at the end of the day, but it works, and it's pretty freaking weird, but it works very very similar to how our brains work. That's why it mimics us too as well, because we're feeding information based on our own creations. Of course it's gonna mimic us in a way. It's literally made as a reflection of us. It is a reflection of our knowledge, let's say. But yeah, it is a lot, and AI, a lot of people, I understand it, especially like the waste water data centers. Like, but I will say there are efficient ways. It is just these scummy fucking elite billionaire fucks that keep standing in the way. I will always have that behind my back. I don't care. That's the one thing I know of more of anything is the way these dudes act, the things they've done and do in the past and history as well. Like very like big figures and like they're all the fucking same. They all act the same. But that's like with everybody. We all act the same fundamentally in ways because again, we're just clones of humans. We're just cloning each other by, it's we're all like kind of clones in a way. But like that doesn't mean, like I don't know. Because I also want to talk about how I see life as well, which is very big on how you would understand how I interpret things such as this, especially because again, I think of life more so as we're the universe experiencing itself in some form. Or, of course, it could be some matrixy simulation type shit. Who fucking knows? At the end of the day, who knows? So I don't think we would ever know nothing before it. We have so much fact. We are smart. We really are smart. Like we're at the point where we're like, replicating stem cells. We're gonna be able to regrow body parts eventually. Like that's some crazy shit. You know what I mean? That's playing God type shit. And I'm not gonna, make it lower than it really is because that stuff's completely world changing for humanity as a whole. And that's why I believe I could live to like 150 or more. I eat incredibly clean. Like that's one thing I'm very paranoid of. And if people do that and they regrow body parts to maintain, like, not that, never the brain, that shit would be stupid to do. It's kind of, I feel like this is, you're kind of gone at that point. Your brain really is like you. It's not, you know what I mean? Like that's just not. That's just like a clone of your brain. It wouldn't really be you experiencing that. I don't know. Let's get into the whole experience thing though, because I think of life more so as, this is how I mainly think of life, is more so of a experience of ourselves. Like we are all the same thing at the core. Like we're all the same thing or being, whatever it may be, at the core. We're just broken and shattered into however so many pieces to experience in our own unique way. And like, because every single being, even aliens that we haven't seen before, they're every single being's fighting its hardest just to experience a living in its own way. They all interpret the world differently. Like think of us. We see the world how we do. There's beings that could see fucking X-rays or different rays, things that they see the world completely, like it would look alien, complete alien to us. We would be like, what the fuck? If we saw it through their eyes, and especially aliens, like imagine their eyes and like other any being at any size, anything. Imagine trying to interpret their perception. That is just unfathomably impossible. You can't do it. Like I said, that's why every being is so unique in how it sees reality, because our reality isn't really reality. Like the physical realm of things, yes, is reality. Like there's still physical things here, but like the way we see and interpret the world around us is completely unique to us in our own kind of biology. Everything else sees the world differently, and in even alien ways like that we, again, like I said, we wouldn't even be able to fathom. It's incomprehensible trying to experience such a thing. So yeah, things like that. I feel it's more so again things experiencing what it's like to be alive or just experiencing the universe, to have a spectator, something to, and we just kind of evolved from whatever the fuck created the life. Like I know we had the certain foundations that created life, of course. But like what really created that? What created like the idea of life or just the universe in general? Like that's what I'm saying. That's why I feel like we are the thing. Like we are the whatever the fuck it is. Just all connected in some core where we are that being or the universe, let's just say. And there's other universes, so just everything. Like literally everything we have around us in this realm. I feel that again we're just broken into a million pieces, experiencing everything, anything and everything. You know how much experience every single living thing in everything would have over the entire, even these past 3 billion years and onwards. Like you know how much experience that would mean. Like that all of that is just so much experience. Like that's, I feel like that's everything. That is the meaning. It's just like to experience it. So what makes me again so grateful to be where I am now, even though like I'm not where I want to be, eventually I will be there. It just takes time, but it's because again, I have the opportunity to experience things unlike any other being. Like of course, there's aliens that probably have it even better off than us, but like I'm just saying, there's people out there who don't have it fortunately at all. There's people who've been fucking tortured. There's people who've been this, been that. And that's what I mean is I feel that we are hurting ourselves at the core. Every being, every animal, every test we've done on anything, we are just testing ourselves. We're experimenting ourselves. So like that's why like it also brews a lot of empathy for like how you treat people. And 'cause, yeah, I feel like I'd rather treat everybody like family because we are all the same being at heart in my eyes. And I see everybody as family, every being. Even though obviously some would want to rip me to shreds. Obviously they were literally evolved to do that, to live, to fight, to experience. That's the whole meaning of every being. So yeah, of course there's some that aren't gonna be nice or this or that. And that's just the whole thing. That's why this elite stuff really gets on my nerves because again, I understand what humanity can be. And right now I'm even drinking a fucking plastic. Fucking it's just I'm not gonna go on rants for everything. But like with these elites and everything, they literally it is only because of their drug addiction of control and power. And just like again, people having such a different perspective of the world, and in that way they just completely blunt everybody else who fucking has any difference of an opinion or how they see the world when literally none of this fucking matters. None of this fucking matters. You know what I mean? Like literally none of it matters. Like we aren't even like supposed to be what we are right now. Like we're supposed to be some fucking apes running around eating like surviving like every other animal is. But like, we're just living a false reality most of the time. It's just the elites created this system so fucking good. So good that literally people fight for it. Like man, some people love working, man. Like and of course work is great. Like I work a lot on my own on my own business. Of course the fuck, like you kidding me? I love working on that. And I just feel people deserve so much better. And the only reason that they are defending it so hard is because they feel it's needed to live. That's why I said these elites did such a good fucking job over these years, man. They did such a good job with these systems that even like the people within it feel there's no other sense of reality other than what they're living. It's crazy. They're so stuck in their loop of their own interpretation of the world. They never change. Most people never change. They change in tiny ways, but fundamentally they don't. Because again, they're not changing in the way where they, interpret they just take what is and just, whatever. Like whatever this a figure told you, this authority tells you this, you listen to it. That's what school was supposed to be like, producing was people who would listen to authority, people who wouldn't revolt, people who would, again, fight for what they now believe is needed to live. Because again, it is in a way, obviously. The elites did again. They did such a good job that, and I hate calling them that. I know there's some other word that someone said that I would have been calling them right now, but I cannot like think of another word right now. So I'm just gonna stay elite for now, even though I can't stand that damn word because it makes them again. It feeds their ego. It feeds their ego. Like, oh, I'm an elite. Like, bro, like it's so fucking pathetic. But like, if I said this shit 100 years ago, even, or like a couple hundred years ago, or Kingdom Ages, I would have been fucking killed. Like that's the thing. And even now, I could be, because they're fucking trying to enter. They're trying to have AI monitor everything, so it feeds them all the shit that they want to, so it does the work for them on monitoring people, so they can do it at scale. And that's where again, the nation, like the state, becoming that kind of control state is possible. And it is very possible because of what they're trying to do right now. Well, again, this is a lot. And I'm just trying to again have just get information out. It's gonna be messy right now, of course, but I am going to learn it day by day. And that's why I think doing this is very important because I need to start so that I can start doing it each day. And then I can just get better at it, better at explaining my ideas, just better explaining anything and just getting my having an output for my inputs, you know. That's the biggest thing about this. And not only that, that's like half of it. The other half is just building that kind of community, having, you know, especially helping people. Like that's my biggest thing. That's why again, I feel like I'm helping like, we're all family. I feel like I'm helping. That's why again, like my whole interpretation of how life is. That's why I say it's very good for. Yeah, I feel like I have no choice but to again like do good for the world because I feel that I'm doing good for ourselves at the core. Like trying to better the experience of every being, every animal, everything we come across, our planet, life, anything, whatever the hell it may be. Even especially ourselves, even though we fucking enslaved ourselves. I don't know. See, I only keep going very bright because I see so much good in this world. You know, the elite can say all they want about the masses and how like dumb these people are, this and that. Like, but they're so smart in their own fucking ways. Like that's why I don't think like, if I call someone dumb, I'm never meaning it that way. Because again, everybody is smart in their own way. No matter like if you're dumb at something, it doesn't mean you're dumb overall. You know what I mean? You could just be dumb at that subject. Cool. Like you know, you can always learn and good at it, especially getting good at it. You can do overtime. Say do it again over time, and eventually you just become a fucking master at it because it's consistency. You get good as you do things, and that's what people just don't seem to understand, even though it is so obvious. But it's all right because like again, like when you're consistent with something, you're building that neural network where it's strengthening, especially when you're doing something uncomfortable and you're activating other parts of your brain. You're training it and you're literally strengthening it where you become better and you see different ways. Like imagine like going through like a maze or watching a movie. Watch a movie, you see the whole story, right? And then you go and watch the second time. Now you see this pop up. Like, oh, I didn't notice that before. Because again, your brain already ran through the story in its head. It's in a loop. It's already in your brain. You have it stored there. So now your brain is starting to pick out these other things it notices because again, it's strengthening that bond it has, and it already has the other things going. So it doesn't need to spend that energy on like devouring all this new stuff when it can just it understands. This is why you get bored of things if you do the same thing over and over. Because it's not, it's that you should expect something new, but like your brain doesn't because again it's trained on that so many times and it's normal. It's not really anything that's new and exciting. So that's why your brain can start picking out these different things that you didn't notice before. Is because again, you already have that running in the background, so your brain can now have that extra energy and use that to find the new things. So yeah, brains are really cool. Like I said, brains are really really cool. That's why I believe psychology is the most important subject as a human to learn. 100% psychology is the most important because you literally understand how you work. Like I understand how to control myself, control my tone, control the situation I'm in, how I feel in a situation. I don't let my emotions override. Of course, it happens once in a while. I am an animal after all, but you know what I mean. I have a sense of control over it all, where it just I don't worry about if I'm in especially if I'm like imagine I'm like on a stage speaking like this. I would be nervous still, of course, because again I haven't done that yet. But when you have understand psychology, you understand why you feel the way you do. So you can then direct your inputs and just the way that you sense it to be able to change the direction of how you feel in that situation or how you see it. And that's why I love psychology. I can change any situation. I can also understand other people and like I can see excuses through anybody. You could read people better too, which is great for hiring and a lot of other things. And again, like if you sense someone's bad for you, things like that, you can sense any of that stuff when you understand psychology because you understand how humans work. You understand yourself, especially, and you understand how humans work. So again, you can pinpoint these things. Not everything, obviously. A lot hides under there, but like again, it does help a lot. So especially when people talk, like that's where most of it comes out. A lot of people tell who they are just by their words. So yeah, psychology is very good, and I believe everybody should learn it. Of course, that's why they're not in schools, because again, yeah, there could be, but it's not a mandatory thing in all schools because they don't want people to be free thinking. They want people to just obey authority. Like if you look at the creation of schools, the creation of work, the creation of whatever the hell it may be, you will understand that it is literally all for control and power. People don't get it, and they're just like, "Oh, it's whatever. Yeah, it is what it is. It is." Are you fucking kidding me? Like, I don't like. Yeah, live your life. Cool. But like, dude, like nothing fucking changes with people like that. Like, it only changes when people who actually put in the action and actually do something about it, collectively do something. But the reason why it isn't changed is because most people just fucking accept what is. People don't want to even attempt to change it. Like, are you kidding me? And especially a lot of people too who say, like, and I'm not gonna, and I'm again, of course, I'm in that boat where I eventually will end up there. But again, I'm not gonna ever end up to that other part I'm gonna say, because like a lot of people who make it, who said they were like they believed in this and this, they give into the control, they give into the power because it is a fucking drug. Taste it once and you will want to taste more of it. That's just how it is. And it's just, but again, it would never feel right. Why would you want to literally control people? Like, because in my eyes, I feel like I'm just controlling myself. Like we're all like the same. Like it's just it's so fucked up. Like because they don't. A lot of people are stuck in their own interpretation, perception, and their own sense of what they're seeing and feeling that they don't. It's like that spotlight syndrome. Like when you're a kid, you literally think you are everything. Like you don't understand the world. Like, you don't understand any of it at all. So like the way that everything feels new and great. Like you just feel like you feel so important, special, and like this. That's a spotlight effect. And that's why a lot of kids become like ignorant with things or like spoiled because that's just how a natural kid is. But that's why you lean them in the direction where they don't become that way later down the road. But a lot of it is the spotlight effect. They don't even think about that other person's experience. A lot of the elite people, they just see everyday people as numbers, as a sale, as money, as something to extract from, something to use as labor to do the work for them, to be able to move the world for them. That's what the elite do. They literally have the people do the labor, do the work, so they can move the world forward for them. Which, of course, like, yeah, if it's done great in many ways, but they've abused the shit out of it. You know what I mean? Like they've literally abused. It could work in a minimalistic way where you're doing good. You actually care about the populations. The only reason they care about the population in any way is only to make sure that things stay the way they are and that people don't revolt. They don't want people to revolt. You see, when things get bad, they try everything to like make it good. They try to seem like they care so much, but they'll minimally they will do the bare minimum just to make sure people don't revolt. But when it crosses that line, they'll then be like, "Oh, okay." They'll have to try pushing back and then trying to keep that bare minimum line. They won't push for what is right just because it's right in any way. They just do it if people are suppressed by them not doing it or whatever else it may be. Like, look at the Jeffrey Epstein stuff. That completely proves right in front of most people's faces right there that they literally own the system. So why the fuck would they get punished by it? Like, of course they aren't. This is a kingdom after all. They are like the nobles. The nobles don't get punished. They only do if the king or like the president or someone that is in that position of power has a problem with them. You know what I mean? Like Britain. Britain. A lot of the nobles didn't like it there, so they moved their entire fleets over to fucking to colonize that area to have their own freedom, their own check and balances, which was very authentic on like what they were attempting to do. I will say, of course, they were trying to like again they were abused by power. They saw it. They saw what it can turn into, what it can do. So they were trying to make sure it doesn't get like that. It doesn't happen. But of course it did. Of course it does. Power is corruption is so contagious. It is terrible. You know what I mean? Like in every kingdom is infected by it. Every kingdom, because that's where power lives. You know what I mean? It literally lives in kingdoms. It lives in these powerful positions and this and that. It's where it lives. It's where you get it. So again, the best way to look at things to understand how and why they're acting the ways they are is it's all about control of power. They want to maintain their interpretation on them, on how people perceive them, interpret them, or again to have control or maintain that control. So look at it like a kingdom. Every government acts like a kingdom. They are all the same thing. They just evolved. They evolved. We're still somewhat in the kingdom fundamentally. Like fundamentally, we're still in the kingdom ages. And again, that is where people get like, a bit taken out of our roots. Like they don't understand where we came from, why things are the way they are today. They just know things are the way they are today. And a lot of people are surprised by change too, which like, dude, we're always changing. Why the fuck do you expect us to stay in the same spot? Like we literally, if we stopped, we would feel meaningless. Like that's the truth. Like if we did not evolve, we would feel fucking meaningless. That's the truth. Evolving feels like you're doing something. Like it feels like you're doing something for tomorrow. You're putting in effort. You're doing something that will in return change tomorrow. And you're trying to like advance and make life better in whatever way, or not in the elite's minds. They just want more control and they want the world to move forward so that they have better lives and they have better control. AI, for example, they will have way better control with AI, and that is very bad. So yeah, that's why we need a lot of legislation and international legislation, cooperation between every fucking country, because this is fucking serious and people are not taking it serious enough. See, this whole AI slop shit pisses me off too because like they're underestimating what AI is doing right now, and it is fucking dumb. I have had it build me incredible automations that have literally made the thing. It has literally made shit that I had no fucking capabilities of doing in a professional way, just because I understand things on a professional level fundamentally. I can connect those systems and I can give it. Like, that's what I'm saying. When you give it slop, it's gonna give you fucking slop. Me, I provide. I have it ask me question after question. I ask it questions. I have it be like, I'm like, what about this? But what about that? I'm like, oh, like, do you ever think about this? Like, you're always trying to like think of everything you can and having it trying to think about other things as well, so that it expands your own capability. Like, oh, I didn't think of that. Like, but now that you thought of that, now you're thinking of something else. Oh, but then there's this. What about that? And like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it really unlocks something that no fucking human can be capable of. Because you're having this kind of employee that is immediate feedback that's professional in most fields that there are. And it knows everything because it has the fucking internet in its ass. Like, it's pretty crazy. Like, it has built me professional ass documents, built me my website, and of course it took me like 20 different remakes of the website to get every detail I wanted. You can't get your perfect result first off. Most of the time you cannot get a perfect result. You're gonna have to remake things. You're gonna have to be like, oh, fix this, fix that, but I want it like this. Oh, but this kind of looks like that. What about this? You're constantly trying to feed it this and like trying to think on it and iterate, and like that's what makes the creativity stay. Like people don't get it. Like it's not taking your creativity away. It's expanding your capabilities with your thinking and your creativity. You're just doing it on a different level. It's not taking it away. People who say that are just they don't understand it. You know what I mean? They have no fucking clue. Because I'm telling you, this shit's so scary for how good it's getting right now. I've used it since it was bad. Now, I couldn't. I don't have fucking words. I don't have words. Like I can't even tell you. Like I can't fathom the past year how good it's gotten. Like it is fucking bad for most people, and I feel so bad for most people in the job industry. This is why I could never work a job because you don't have security. You think you have security, but you don't. You don't have control over your position. You think you do because your credentials, but you don't. Most people don't get that. You don't own it. That's why your own business is what makes things free, or content, or any kind of entrepreneurial, geez, I am tripping my word out, but entrepreneurial thing that lets you own what you do. And like that's what makes it so much worth more living because you're contributing your own unique thing to the world that you're doing an impact with. Like, yeah, a job does too. But again, you don't own the credentials. Like, if you do something, they're gonna, yeah, you might be in there, but people are gonna know the brand for doing it, not specifically you. Some people, it different, of course. Like the space, like the astronauts in space, like the people who just went to the moon. Of course, they're all very recognized. People are very grateful for them. They did an fucking gratefully job. Like they did a great job. I mean, I keep saying messed up words. I still smoke a little marijuana. All right, and that is something I am also pondering about quitting by like tomorrow again because I've done it before, and I don't know, like it's a lot. It is a lot, but we're moving forward each day, and that's what matters. Like I did have a client who I now have a case study with because now have real production experience, and it feels great saying that. I've worked with him and his team, create automation that quite literally, and the thing is that his software didn't allow us to really automate what we were trying to do because we're trying to do actions within the software, but the API, which is like a word for basically just saying like how what websites connect to each other, um, it wouldn't allow us to perform actions in, but it would allow us to like spit data out of it. So I found a workaround where I went to like control inspect element, you go to the network tab, then you go to the XDR slash whatever else, and then you then basically perform the action that is trying to be automated within the software. And then you listen in on what pops up in the code stuff, and then you basically snatch the action in the network tab, and then you can basically take that and then automate it. And it's not against their TOS. I had Claude fucking sweep through their entire TOS and everything about their business, which is data sift. It's because he was a wholesaler. He was a wholesaler for real estate. But yeah, that felt great. You know what I mean? I like we really thought that we weren't gonna be able to automate that, and I talked to Claude. Claude figured it out. But like I'm the one that basically has it. The best way you can look at it, it's like an employee or an assistant. That's literally the best way you can look at it. Not like a friend, not like this or that, but an employee or an assistant because it's truly what it is. It's meant to something that can expand your capabilities because that's what employees do. You are the one that has the understanding of systems that can piece things together, get a giant fucking vision done based on, again, understanding the fundamentals and how to put those systems together to get that big vision done. But most employees, they're great at what they do. But I will tell you, if you throw them into the position of the owner, most of them will fucking fail outright. Most of them will fucking fail because they have not been in that position. They are specialized for what they do. That's why business in general is just a great skill, is because systems thinking is just the best kind of thinking, in my opinion. I feel thinking in systems is so. I love it. I love systems. I love piecing things together and seeing a result at the end of it. And it's so awesome. Like it really is. Like I have so much passion for it. Like with the client I had, I didn't know how to estimate stuff. So like I kind of freeballed that client, and you know, he didn't pay for the first set of automations. The first process I didn't charge him for because that was for the case study. But the next projects I did, and I still kind of freeballed it. I did the work. I did the work. I spent like so many hours. I spent an entire week, all day, every day on those damn things. But I loved every minute of it, even though some things pissed me off because technology can be so confusing. But I got it done. So basically, like I said, I didn't know how to estimate because it's really hard to estimate this kind of stuff. You can do something on software, but like on the deeper level, it is so complex. Like it can be so freaking complex. Like especially conditional things where you can be like, oh, but if this, then this, and this. Like it's stuff like that makes it way more difficult, and like you can't really get a good grasp on an estimate. So I'm trying to work on that, and think I got a pretty good system going now. So the next client, I'll be ready. That's why you learn from these things. Now I have a whole system where they'll know the price at every step. So the first once as soon as we get the first automation built, they'll know how much for each day, how much they're at for their, how much they're costing, and we will know their budget. We'll make sure we get the budget, the ceiling of things, so that we can work with it and try building around the budget. Because the whole point isn't trying to sell up these packages or this or this. It's we're trying to build stuff for them and for their situation specifically. It's all custom, completely custom. So if their budget's like 1,500, and there's like these other features that I would think would help, but it's not in that range, I will mention it. But I'll say, of course, we're building for your budget. We're gonna make it like this and this. But if you want to expand for this much, you can get this and this. You know what I mean? Things like that. And that is how you upsell. That's how you upsell. But you don't want to upsell by, just building extra things without their knowledge of how, like, they don't have the knowledge of tech to really get what the building stuff, like what that stuff is. So the number would kind of scare them. That's why understanding their budget and working with it is the best thing, because it won't scare them. They already have an idea of what their limit is. They already know what they're willing to pay. So that will help us, understand this. And if it's clearly not in the range, we'll be like, all right, well, like, we clearly can't build this piece because of this budget range. But again, if you want to expand to this, we can make this happen, and you have both parts. But if you want to work with just your budget, we can build this piece of it. You know, that's what you want to do. You like when it comes to automation, that's what you want to do for custom work. You don't want to be doing these things where you just build out a bunch of shit and then upcharge them because you built these things without, working with them. You want to work with them. That's the whole point when it comes to automation. You're working with them. It's their systems you're trying to automate. That's why the liability is so high. It's why I spent 10 months building this, because it's so much liability. There's just like, again, because you're dealing with credentials, you're dealing with their APIs, which is all like, and that stuff is like, sensitive info. And just working with your systems, their data. You're working with their data. Like that's sensitive info. That's why a case study is so good for me, because I now have all this proof. I can use his name. I have everything. I'm making a demo video, a professional one, where I can actually, present the whole thing in a professional manner. Finally, a good fucking video. You know what I mean? Something that will actually make sense and completely sell my product itself. With again the automations that I was gonna charge for him, not all of them. I'm still doing some of the ones that I wasn't gonna charge, but since he, wasn't gonna buy those automations, might as well make use of them. But yeah, it would have been a good amount. Like these systems are worth a good amount of money, but it's because of what they do. They do provide saving a lot of time, and time is worth a lot. Time is worth a lot. Like, think of your life and then say how much you think your time on here on Earth is worth. Like, each hour shouldn't be worth what your hourly wage usually is. So, yeah, I don't know. There's a lot I'm gonna talk about on here. I just want to get some ideas across. Just some. But there'll be a lot more. A lot more. And it'll be on specific subjects. I won't be going over everything. Some things maybe, but it'll be specific subjects, specific kind of matters. And yeah, so again, if anyone's watching this, I almost had a thousands of dollars deal with my first client. It's only I only wasted like spent all that time because I didn't have a good estimate system. He didn't know what he was getting himself into, and that's why I am now having that clarity for the future clients. It's what I learned. I learned so much from this client. I now know how to, now I know how to do production work. I know how to approach all of this now, to how to go about building these things, go about this situation. Now if there's a software that doesn't allow us to do something, I now have a workaround that has a whole guide I already made that's super simplistic and helps you. Like, that's why systems. I love systems. I have so many documents and like things that like are guides that I try making as simplistic as possible, trying to like teach you everything. I have an entire knowledge base Notion that's free that has all of my SOPs, literally all my SOPs, all my resources, all like the consultant in the which is like the role I really am, but operator as a contractor I have, which I'm probably gonna have to hire a new one and just do the first few deals myself, just so I get the first cut and run through the systems once more, twice. make them better where I can trust somebody to go through them without me having to constantly be there and fix this, fix that. You know what I mean? I did all this from a computer, like making 18, was making 17, but making 18 an hour, paying literally all my money basically on fucking rent, food, because I eat very healthy, so it's expensive, and products are also expensive. I'm a bit of a dumbass with money too sometimes, so it's again I'm learning and I learn from mistakes, but yeah. So you anybody could do this shit. You know what I mean? Like I'm not anybody special. I'm just someone that is chasing something, someone that's putting in the work to actually do something better for myself and my future generations and my family and friends, anybody in the world at the most, because that's like what I'm aiming to do. Most people think it's just some small shit, like a little business, but bro, I'm trying to fucking change the world. I'm trying to have some impact with AI in that industry to be able to make it better for humanity and just be able to change the world and better so many people's experiences. Can't wait to do it. It's gonna be unlike anything else, you know. That'll be an experience. But yeah, so I'll be trying to do this each day. Trying, if not again every other day, because that's a good way of habits, so that you're always staying consistent in some manner. We have a rule where you never skip the second day. Like with my workouts, I never skip a second day. Besides the weekends, I just don't work on the weekends. But yeah, each weekday I can't skip. I don't even like. I can't even skip a day. Like I fucking hate skipping a day. I feel like shit if I do. But yeah, like I said, there's a lot people can do, and most people, or if anyone even is fucking watching this, if you're at this point, holy shit. First off, like thank you. Like holy shit. But like yeah, so you can quite literally do whatever you put your damn mind to. Like people don't understand how fucking capable they are, and they think they're just in this reality. They're just in this. They're meant for this position. They're meant for this. They're meant for this life. They have no other way out. There is so many ways out. You can do anything now. You can start creating content. It just takes time. Yeah, it's scary. Yeah, it's you're not gonna be good at it. Yeah, people might make fun of you. Yeah, people might not understand you. Who fucking cares? You know, this is your life. Why would you like let people dictate how you want to live it? I mean, why don't you do what's best for you? What's best for your future kids, for your family, your friends? They will understand it once you're able to afford, fucking life-saving surgery that no other person in that family could fucking afford. Like, you kidding me? Like, that's something that is like that actually drives me more than anything. It's just being able to help to do something, to be able to do something. I'm sitting here seeing what's going on in this world, and I can't do a fucking thing about it right now. Like, I can do tiny things, yeah, but like I'm trying to do some big shit. I'm trying to really change something. I'm trying to like really move shit, really get shit going. Especially with the education system, we need a whole new fucking system, and I want to contribute. I want to be able to like actually help kids get taught what fucking matters. Not to be taught to be obedient, to be a fucking slave to this whole system. Because AI, there's gonna be some. It's gonna make a lot of jobs too. AI, people are scared about the jobs. Don't worry. If anything, you guys do just have to worry about working an AI job. Like that's if anything. But there's gonna be so many more jobs managing AIs, doing this and that with AI. People don't realize that. There's gonna be a lot of jobs, but it's also gonna take most of the jobs that people do now. And you people aren't fucking prepared for this shit. And I'm telling you, it is not going to be pretty. But it's not going to be the worst thing you would think. It's just going to be the people who try staying in the old ways that will suffer the most. You want to, think ahead and do what's good for your future, not now, that will, move you there. And most people just don't see it either. Again, you just want to just ask questions. Again, like try chasing everything and again, this could be your only life. The reason why I'm so big on trying to do everything in this life because I have a break basically in my eyes. There's some lives that I could live after this because again, I feel like we're everything just experiencing a different bodies, different things, different beings. That next thing you know, after this life, I could start experiencing some terrible shit. Like I want to take this opportunity to experiencing a great life that we have the opportunity to live. I mean, I have the opportunity to do all this from my fucking computer and then eventually start traveling the world. Like going first off to Puerto Rico, I can't wait, man. I'm hoping that's for the next 4 months. But like, yeah, that shit. Like that's what I'm talking about. Like being able to being able to experience what a human can in today's world can experience. I am so beyond fucking grateful. That's the one thing the elites are good with is getting getting humanity to evolve in ways with what we have and do. But at the same time, it creates more stress for people, and a lot of people we're not fit to live in this kind of life. We're animals at the end of the day. So, but either way, like I've said, I think of we're just everything experiencing in fragmented pieces. But at the core, we are the same being, the same thing, the universe, whatever the hell it may be. Or again, could just be some fucking Matrix simulation. Matrix movie really made me think, hey, that could be that could be an incredibly realistic option alongside my first one. But yeah, so that's why I feel that we gotta help each other have better experiences. You gotta help yourself have better experiences, help your family, help your friends, help everybody just to live, try to have the best experience because we have the opportunity to have so many great experiences, to live an amazing fucking life, to be able to provide and change other lives. Like that's what we're able to do today. Back then, you were a peasant and you stayed a fucking peasant. Today, you can be a peasant, like in our kingdom, the U.S. I'm just a citizen. I'm like a normal, low grade peasant in a way still, but I can become a fucking noble. Like we're capable of doing that just through a computer, a phone, just by putting in the work. You have infinite knowledge in your hands. It's whoever. It's what you make with what you have. And most people don't realize that you can make it to the top from what you have, especially if you have a phone or a computer. But even if not, there's people who have made it in the worst situations. And I can't talk, but there's people who've done it. There's people who've been in terrible situations and have made it out. Why can't you? Why can't you do it? Why can't you be the next one? If the other people are doing it, how the fuck is that unrealistic? If so many of these people are doing it now, how the fuck is that realistic? And even this LARP shit is like fucking the entire perspective of wealth right now too. Anytime people see someone doing well, they're like, oh LARP, LARP. Like now that's a thing. People are they're just stuck in their little bubble of being mediocre. They don't want to do anything big. They're like, all right, cool. If you don't want to, then don't. But don't be a fucking person that's like shitting on everybody else who are, because that's some jealousy talking right there. That's pretty obvious. It's pretty fucking obvious. You can read people very well like that. Or they're just trying to get reactions to feel seen. Because people do want to feel seen. They want connection in some way, and some people do that. They want to get rage baited. I mean, they want to rage bait people. They want to get connection in some way, even if it's digital. But yeah, so again, like I don't. There's a lot I like to talk about, of course, as you can tell. And this is a very, very long fucking video. For the first video, it's pretty nuts, but this shit is gonna be a hell of a video to look back on. So me in the future, you motherfucker, especially for you. Out of anybody who's watching this, thank you. But anybody me who's watching this in the future, bro, you better have fucking done it. A year from now, you better have fucking done it. You better not be slacking. You fucking better not be, because you know damn well what could happen if you don't. You know what could happen. So I better look back on this video and be like, damn, I'm glad I fucking did this. Like I'm glad I did this. I'm glad I took the chance. I'm glad I'm trying to be something that people think you can't just become. But like how you can't just and that's the thing, you can't just become something, you can't just become it. You have to put in a day, like each day at a time, and it stacks up, and that's what changes you. I am a completely different person than a year ago. People who knew me when I stopped talking to them, they don't even know me now. They don't know me. On a real note, they don't know me. I'm a completely different person. I have different priorities. I do different things. I think completely fucking differently. I do different things. And, I have a completely different brain basically at this point. Like I still have the old memories. I appreciate them, great people. But again, it's not my people anymore. I'm changing, and that's just how life is. You know what I mean? And changing is a good thing. Change just means that you're putting your brain to work, or making use of, you know, what God gave you, whatever this thing is gave us. And yeah, so everything I talked about, again, if people have any interest in comments and too about stuff, I like talking about things. I'll YouTube comments I'm alright with. TikTok, Insta, fucking hate those comments. I'm not even gonna bother looking into those things ever again. Those comments are full of fucking slop. Like I can't do it. But like YouTube, I feel those people are more intellectual, who are okay with, having conversations, having actual, like experiences, not just getting the fed this fucking quick hit, like some drug that quick social medias do to you. But YouTube Shorts also exist, but still. Yeah, again, this is a long ass video, so much longer than I expected. I really took a long time, but I feel that I needed to do this, and I'm actually very excited I did. So, so much more to come. So much more to come, and I'm so fucking excited. So, man, it felt great. Yeah, again, if anybody wants to talk about stuff, feel free. I'd love to chat some shit up. I'd love to think differently. If anything I said even seems out of pocket, seems, a bit too much or whatever, talk about it. Let's talk about it. I like to see things differently. I like to hear every perspective. I love different. That's why diversity is needed, man. Like, why if everything was the same, it would be such a shitty fucking world. This world would be so boring. It would be so. Oh, I love diversity because of it. It makes the world so interesting. Just how diverse and unique everybody is at heart and at the core. Like there's so much diversity, and we gotta keep pushing for that. We gotta keep pushing for diversity, for originality in this world, not to be another copy of somebody. Like people are chasing status too much, man. Cars, followers, clouds, fucking, or whatever the fuck it may be, man. Like it's so stupid. Like people care too much about their external people and opinions. And like there's literally a study I watched recently that literally proves that most people think that someone noticed something about them or thought something about them. But then when they interviewed the people after and this and that, every study, it was like 5 times less than what you thought. Like if someone judged or like thought something or like noticed something, it'd be like 5 times less effective than what you're thinking people are noticing. Like it's just people are so, like again, it's all just because we're so used to being in a village around like a little group. But now we have people everywhere you look. So you're constantly feeling judged by these strangers or whatever it may be. Your survival instincts aren't cut out for it. We're humans. We're not meant for this big world and this constant stranger interactions and everything. But yeah. So yeah, if anyone wants to talk about shit, I'm down with that. I'm always down with that. And there's a lot more coming from this. I'm gonna start doing simple subjects. I will not go over a half hour from now on because this is pretty crazy. I did not expect it to be this long, but wow, 57 minutes is pretty crazy. Pushing an hour here. But yeah, I'll be again talking about everything and anything and everything that I've already talked about basically, but broken down in different pieces. What's going on in the world, especially. I love talking about what's going on in the world. Uh, and it's like again, like the truth. I like spreading the truth. I like telling people things I like telling people what things are for what they are, not what people want to hear just to be happier or more comfortable. Like the world's not ending. I'm gonna pretend the world's not ending, so the world's not ending. But like I'm just saying, like that's the kind of way that I'm trying to explain it. People be like, "Oh, the world's ending," when it's like, it's just I don't know. I'm just gonna get off. I'm just gonna get off. Bye bye. If anyone stayed this long, holy shit, you were a fucking warrior. Keep thinking, keep being a smart ass motherfucker. Keep building, keep chasing your dreams, keep doing shit that you deserve, that your future children fucking deserve, your future wife deserves, or boyfriend, whatever it may be. And you guys have a great rest of your day. And again, remember that you just want to chase being better every day and feeling better every day. That's, again, one day at a time. Eventually, it adds up and equates to what you're dreaming for and chasing towards.